Om. 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 Sairam. Just to recollect where we are in our study of Sri Sathya Sai Vahini. We are in chapter 4, and the chapter is titled as Wonder of Wonders, Miracle of Miracles. The wonder, what it is being described by Swami. Swami starts the chapter saying that every Bharatiya recognizes that they are the Atman. And the wonder is that even though they are the Atman, which is imperishable, eternal, everlasting, and so on, the Jivatma is always deluded and thinks that he is finite and perishable. And that's where we are. And Swami is also telling that we should not call ourselves sinners. That is the greatest sin, to call ourselves sinners. And that he says that Bharatiya is capable of worshipping the Lord as mother, father, and so on. And I think that's where we were. Last week, we were more or less doing a revision of whatever we discussed, I guess, in the previous weeks. We will continue from where we left off. I will ask sisters to continue.
Sairam. These are the words of the rishis. How can those who have not themselves delved into this truth appreciate this Bharatiya interpretation? Indians are the fortunate ones who have achieved great strength in spirit, holding God as Father, Mother, Guru, Friend, and the Beloved. They have adored God as dearer to them than anything or anyone, here or hereafter. How can those who are aware only of more sensual pleasure know this supreme truth? The craving for sensual pleasure veils the truth from the inner eye. That craving manifests in multiple ways, creating more and more desires and laying down more and more urges to action. These hide the truth like a thick curtain. The recognition of the curtain is a big stage in spiritual progress. This is the Maya principle of Vedanta. From immemorial times, though the truth was self evident, this curtain has hidden it from man. This has been discovered as the prime obstacle by Indians since ages. How to remove the curtain and cognize the truth. Indians knew that the solution does not lie in the objective, external world, and so it would be futile to seek it there. The search in the external world, even for ages, cannot ensure success, for experience alone can guarantee conviction.
Thank you very much, sister. So as you can see, I think we had read the Telugu also and looked at the meaning. So I will stop here. As you can see, Swami is talking about introducing the concept of Maya, which is the cause of the Jivatma, not realizing that it's the Atman. How it happened is wonder. But now that we recognize that the Maya, the curtain which is covering us realizing the truth, is being identified by Swami, and also that it's only experience which can give us the conviction. I think that's what stemmed the discussion last week in terms of how do we get the experience from what we study. So I will stop here. If there's anything anyone would like to share, please go ahead.
Sorry, uncle, if it's not too much trouble, can we do the Telugu again?
Okay, sure. Brother Prasad is
Yeah,
here.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
brother, Itti Bharatiya Bhavamulanu, from there you can read.
Itti Bharatiya Bhavamulanu.
It's ఇవి ఋషుల వాక్కులు ఋషుల వేదవిత్తులు వేరు
రాయిని దేవునిగా తలచుటే
నో ఇవి ఋషుల వాక్యములు then I think maybe the next paragraph starts with ఋషులు వేదవిత్తులు విదితులు whatever. Then Swami says ఇట్టి భారతీయ భావములను అనుభవము లేని వారు ఎట్లు అర్థము చేసుకొనగలరు భగవంతునే తండ్రిగా తల్లిగా గురువుగా.
What is the first paragraph, first starting?
One second.
I marked here, but
Okay, wait 1 second. Let me look at chapter 4. I hope you get that right.
chapter 4.
Okay, so ఋషులు వేద విదితులు. That's the start of the paragraph, brother.
Oh, sorry.
You got it?
Yeah, 1 minute.
ఋషులు వేద విదితులు.
Yeah. I'm using a wrong look. Usually by the Viditul. Yeah. I'm trying. ఋషులు వేద విదితులు.
So the rishis are people who know the Vedas.
ఇట్టి భారతీయ భావములను అనుభవము లేని వారు ఎట్లు అర్థం చేసుకోగలరు?
So this kind of feelings of the Bharatiyas or the experience of the Bharatiyas, whoever does not have, how can they understand this?
భగవంతునే తండ్రిగా తల్లిగా గురువుగా మిత్రునిగా ప్రియునిగా ప్రార్థించి భావించి బలమును అందుకున్న భాగ్యజీవులు భారతీయులు.
The Bharatiyas are fortunate ones who have learned or who have worshipped the Lord as father, mother, guru, friend, beloved, and they have derived immense power or immense strength from that.
ఇహపరములందు గల సర్వమున కన్నను ప్రియతర వస్తువుగా ఏకైక ప్రియునిగా ఆరాధించిన వారు భారతీయులు.
The Bharatiyas worshipped the Lord alone as something or someone who is the most precious and beloved thing in this in this world as well as the other.
కేవలము ఇంద్రియ సుఖములనే ఎరుగు జనసామాన్యము అట్టి పరమసత్యమును ఏ రీతిగా గ్రహించగలదు?
So the collection of people who are always interested in only the sensory pleasures, how can they understand or witness or get to know this supreme truth?
ఈ ఇంద్రియ స్వభావమే మనకు సత్యము కనిపింపక మరుగుపడియుందు కారణములలో ఒకటని ఋషుల వాదన.
The rishis, it's the argument of the rishis was that, or the reasoning of the rishis, that the cause for this is the indriyas or the senses and their own nature. These are the ones which come in the way of make us understanding this truth.
Yeah, that's the end of the paragraph. Should we continue?
I don't know whether some more. No,
okay.
We have to continue, brother.
Okay. ఇంద్రియ భోగాసక్తి వివిధ సిద్ధాంత కల్పనము.
The enjoyment of the sensory pleasures is something which is imagined with the Siddhanta Sankam.
With the philosophies.
Pardon?
Philosophy, Siddhanta?
Yeah, I think Siddhanta and philosophies, though you can say which are imagined philosophies.
ఇది సత్యమునకు మనకు మధ్య నుండి ఒక తెర.
This is a curtain, a veil which comes between us and the truth.
మన పరిశీలనములలో ఇది ఒక మహాఘట్టము.
This is a stage in our inquiry.
ఈ భావనే క్రియాభివృద్ధి నంది అద్భుత రూపమగు వైదాంతిక మాయా సిద్ధాంతముగా కాలాంతరమున రూపొందుటయు.
So for this feeling is the Kriyabhivritti. So this is a reason for all the actions, activities, I would say. Adbhuta Rupamaku Vedantik. This has transformed itself into the Vedic Vedanta means Vedantika. So as the Vedantic philosophy as time passed, as time progressed.
ఈ తెరనే వేదాంతమున కానవచ్చు యథార్థ వివరణమనియు.
This curtain is the real explanation of the Vedanta.
అనాది కాలము నుండి సత్యము మన కంటి ఎదుటనే దీపించుచుండియు ఈ తెర వలననే మరుగుపడి ఉండెనని భారతీయుల కనుగొనిరి.
The Bharatiyas realized that from time immemorial, from the beginning of times, this truth has been in front of us, glittering in front of us. However, because of this curtain or veil which covers it, this whole curtain also has been around since that time, even though the truth was in front of us.
మన ఈ సమస్యకు బాహ్యలోక అన్వేషణముచే సమాధానము లభింపదని భారతీయుల కెరుకుపడెను.
So the Bharatiyas realized that this cannot be understood by an external vision. That was their conclusion.
ఎన్ని యుగముల కాలము బాహ్యలోకమున వెదికినను నిష్ఫలమే.
For how many yugas one may search for this externally in the external world, that will be a futile exercise.
దీనికి అనుభవము అత్యవసరమనియు అట్టి పరమానుభవమును పడయుటకై భారతీయులు దీర్ఘ తపస్సు చేసి.
So they realize that experience was essential for this, and for the sake of this supreme experience, the Bharatiyas have struggled with doing very intense tapas.
విచారణ సలిపి.
So they did inquiry.
కడకు సత్యాన్ని గుర్తించి.
At the end they understood the truth.
లోకానికి చాటిరని భారత శాస్త్రములు చాటుచున్నవి.
And they declared this to the entire world, and this is what is stated in the Shastras.
ఇంద్రియ వాంఛలను.
I think that's all, brother.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay.
I think we have gone a little past, but I think we'll see. So as you can see, Swami is telling that to understand this, an external search will be futile outside of us. We have to inquire within and experience it. This was what was discovered by the Bharatiyas who did intense tapas to realize this, obtain the supreme experience. So I'll stop here. If there is anything anyone would like to share or discuss, please go ahead.
Anyway, Swami say, I think God is not nowhere outside but within.
Yes.
So,
I think one of the lines which I did not, I think, do justice. The translation here says that craving manifests in multiple ways, creating more and more desires and laying down more and more urges to action. That karma siddhantamu, I think Vivida karma siddhantamu, something like that. Swami, I think.
Indriya bhoga sakti vivida siddhanta kalpanamu.
Yeah, so that basically what Swami says, because of the urges of the senses, we come up with all kinds of philosophies and engage in this work in this world, in activities in this world, I would say. So that's what he says. Craving manifests more and more desires, leading to urges to action.
Sorry, Uncle. So it's the sentence that says Indriya Bhoga Sakti, that one?
Yes.
And so what should it, what is the correct translation?
Okay, so I will go word by word, okay, if it's okay. Swami says, see, e bhavane. I think that's the way it starts, that one. Am I right?
Yeah.
So this feeling, okay, becomes kriyabhivritti nandi. So it grants us this growth of activities. Okay.
Sorry, Uncle, is this in the first paragraph or the second paragraph?
Second paragraph.
Second paragraph. Indriya bhoga sakti vivida siddhanta kalpanamu. ఇది సత్యమునకు మనకు మధ్య నుండి ఒక తెర.
Okay, so we will go from there. So Indriya Bhoga Sakti, that means a desire or attachment to the sensory pleasures. Indriya Bhoga Asakti. Okay, so that means, so our desire or attachment to Indriya Bhoga. Vivida Siddhantang Kalpanamu. That means it gives varieties of imagined philosophies.
Imaginary. Yeah.
We get different ideas because of the pleasures of the indriyas. We come up with all kinds of philosophies which are actually imagined. Idi satyamunaku manaku madhyanundu. That kind of imagination becomes the curtain which separates us from the truth. Okay. Mana parisీలనములో idi oka maha ghattamu. So this becomes a stage. Pardon, brother? Important stage. Yeah, it becomes an important stage in our inquiry.
So what is the stage that Swami is referring to?
This kind of inquiry, people see when we want to progress spiritually, we come to a stage where this multiplication of all sorts of theories also come about because of our attachment to the indriyas.
Oh.
Even in the spiritual path, it becomes a major point of, a major stage or an important stage where we come up with all kinds of theories, which itself can be a veil which separates us from the truth.
It's like the convenient philosophy.
You can say, yes.
Okay. Is it fair to say, I think some may be thinking the enjoying the sensory pleasures is the bliss. Maybe they're in that imaginary world of having so much of sensory pleasures is the ultimate thing that I can enjoy. But that's not the real. The real enjoyment is finding God within, I guess, right? That's what he is saying to differentiate.
Yes. See, for example, we will say, oh, we have to go to heaven. Let's do all good things, then we will go and we will live there forever, enjoy all the joys, All these are theories. But the thing is, they will never take us to the truth. I think that's what Swami is trying to say. But I think in the translation, it says that craving manifests in multiple ways, creating more and more desires and laying down more and more urges to action. That's what the translation says. Brother Yoga has raised his hand.
Yes, Sairam. That's why there are some people, they leave Swami, quote other Swamijis, so they told them very comfortable, whatever they want. So they attach them, they criticize about Swami from there. I shouted them sometime. You came to the top level and walked down left to the ground level, the grade 1, 2, 3, you come back again. With this kind of situation, because they're looking for the suitable for their sensual pleasure to come up, they go both hand by hand to go on to, they want to progress. It won't happen like that. Saira.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Yes, Sai Satish.
Sorry, Ramana. I was just going to say that what is imagined by the mind becomes a veil for the mind with the Atman. What is beyond the mind is what is the true thing. So anything imagined by the mind becomes a veil. So just wanted to put it in that context.
Thank you. Thank you. It's like the fire itself creating the ash which covers it, something.
Yes,
Yeah. Thank you. So then, Kalyani, the next, and E Bhavani, Kriya Bhivriddhi Nandi. That means this type of tendency, this feeling, gives rise to an increase in activities. Okay. Adbhuta Rupamagu Vaidayantika Maya Siddhantamuga. This becomes this wonderful or miraculous form, give rise to the Vedantika Maya Siddhantamuga. This is the Maya Siddhanta. This is the Maya which the Vedanta talks about. Okay. Kalantaramana Rupanti. It took the form of this Maya Siddhantam as time progressed. Yes, brother?
Siddhantam is a kind of a theory.
Yes, Siddhantam
Theory
means
of Maya
mentally
theory.
conclude. Yes.
So it's so we're saying Maya is the Adbhuta, it's wonderful, or
Adbhuta Rupam here means it's a very perplexing, wonder, it's something which is inexplicable. Also, you can say, okay. Adbhuta Rupamagu Vaidantika Maya Siddha. So it is something which is, what to say, mysterious, also you can say. Okay. Some mysterious theory of Maya Siddhantam, it took the form. So because of this, actually, many people talk about the way Advaita people, Advaita Siddhantas, people are called as Mayavadi. If you talk to the Visishta Advaita Siddhanti, they will call the Advaitins as Mayavadis. So
Vadan.
pardon?
That means like Vadan is someone who speaks about, or is
Yeah,
it?
they have the argument of Maya. They put forth the argument of Maya, you can see. Okay, so people always talking about Maya, not about God. That's what Vishishtadvaitins call the Advaitins. Okay, these people don't talk about God; they only talk about Maya. So something like that.
Sairam,
Yes, sister.
Sairam, brother. So the Maya, according to the first paragraph, I think the Maya principle, the base is arise from the sensual pleasure. That's how you have to say it, because Maya is not something. That's what what's your sense perceive, or how it's create with the sensual pleasure only, you can say the Maya is based on that. This is my understanding from here. Before we imagine is Maya is some delusion kind of, but according to this, it's a sensual pleasure only creating the Maya kind of. Thank you, Saira.
Yes, sister. I think Swami has given some other examples. Like, when you eat a sweet, the tongue will say the sweet is only giving you happiness. But actually, it is not the sweet. The Atman within that actually gives you, but we superimpose on the sweet. The tongue will say, no, it is only the sweet which is giving my pleasure. because of that, we forget that there is an Atman within the sweet, which is the cause of the joy, bliss. And Swami, there's another thing which is about the dog biting the bone and thinking that, there's blood oozing from the bone. Actually, the blood is oozing from itself. So that thinking that it is coming from the bone causes is Maya. Yes, Sai Satish.
That example that Swami gives of even the rope is there as such, but as when we are walking in the night, we see that and we think it to be of a snake. So the thought that has emerged is again that of fear that has led to thinking of the rope as a snake. But then when immediately the torchlight is used and we realized, oh, actually it's not a snake, it's a rope. It's again that use of that torchlight which has made that thought of it not being a snake now last. So it is more like before also it was a rope, after also during the process also it was rope, and after it remains a rope. But our projection onto that is what made it look as a snake and then make it go away of not being a snake. So ultimately it is our own mind that superimposes and it's our own mind which withdraws. But what it remained in its pristine nature continues to be as such. So.
Thank you, Sai Satish.
Uncle, could you continue with the word-to-word translation? I think the sentence is going.
So, Siddhantam, Kalantaramuna, that's as time progressed, in time, Rupam, they took a form of that Maya. E Therane, this curtain or veil, Vedantamuna, Kanavachu, Yathartha, Vivaranamaniyu. That this is the explanation of the reality which can be seen in the Vedanta. Anadi Kalamanundi, from time immemorial, from the origin of times. Satyamu mana kanti yedutane. That means it has been in front of our eyes. This truth. Deepinchu chundiyu. It was, effulgent in front of us. So, it was giving light. Okay. Deepinchu chundiyu, even if though it was like that, E teravalane, due to this curtain, a veil, Marugubadi undananiyu. That means it has been covered or it has been hidden. It has remained hidden. Bharatiyulu ganugoniri. Bharatiyas discovered that. Okay. I think that's all. Oh, should I continue? Mana e anvesha. Mana e samasyaku Bahyaloka Anveshamunache. Mana is samasyaku. For this doubt or problem of ours, Bahyaloka Anveshanamuche. That means by searching in the external world. Samadhanamu labimpadani. You will not be able to gain a solution or resolution or an answer. Bharatiyulu eruga padanu. Bharatiyas understood this. So it came to the knowledge of the Bharatiyas. Okay. Any yugamula kalamu. In how many ever yugas, such time, bahya lokamuna vedikinanu. Even if you search in the external world. Nishpalame. That means it's fruitless. Okay. It's wasted. Diniki anubhavamu atyavasaramananiyu. That means for this experience is essential. Atti paramanubhavamunu. That such a supreme experience. Bada yutakai. To obtain that or to experience it. Bharatiyas. Dirga tapassu chesi. They did long penance. Vicharana Salapi means they inquired. Kadaku at the end, Satyani Gurtinchi, they realized the truth. Lokaniki Chartirani, they declared it to the world. Bharata Shastramulu Chartuchunave. This is expressed or declared by the Shastra, the scriptures of the Bharata. Okay, I hope.
Thank you.
I don't know, Prasad. I am just confidently doing something. You have
You're doing very great.
you have to correct me. Okay,
No, you're doing great.
So the curtain,
yes, please.
no, so the curtain that Swami is referring to is just our attachment to experiencing sensory pleasures that's creating all these thoughts or philosophies in our mind.
Yes.
Okay.
I think more than that, I think thinking that is the bliss. Thinking that enjoying the sensory pleasures is the bliss. Is that feeling is Maya, like
That gives rise to all kinds of philosophies, which covers our eyes.
curtain.
Curtain.
What is an example you think of like the philosophies that Swami is referring to here?
Yeah. So, for example, even this think of heaven, attaining heaven. See, which is in every philosophy, is there. They said attaining heaven is the end of your life. If you take every other religion, and including the Karma Kanda, they all talk about attaining heaven. Indra Loka. See, Indra Loka is nothing but Indriya Loka. So they want to enjoy the Indriyas. Devendra is nothing but the lord of the senses, mind. So everyone strove for that only. Everyone wants to do good deeds because they think if I do some, donate some money, I will get a lot of money. It's a business transaction. When I get money, then I will enjoy all the pleasures. And I will never be sad. I will never be sick. I will never die. These are the type of philosophies. People are still, if you ask every person who practices yoga, they will say they want to live for 1,000 years. Why? Because they think they can enjoy for 1,000 years. So all these philosophies are there, and as Brother Yoga Kumaran said, anyone who promises this kind of philosophy, they will drop Swami and run after such people. That's what Yoga Kumaran. So I think that's what it is. And, and they are very, very popular people. Millions of people flock to such theories. So it's such things. I think that's my understanding. Sairam.
So the curtain is Maya, is that right?
Yes. Tera. Tamil it's equal to Thirai. So I don't know.
So it's just kind of,
Okay,
oh, sorry.
okay, sorry. Go ahead, Kalyani.
No, so it's kind of just an uncoupling of like what our experiences, what our indriyas are experiencing, uncoupling that from the bliss that we are experiencing. Is that the whole process? Like,
I think we have to uncouple from the external world. See, the Indriyas will not give up as long as we are looking externally. Because they are opening to their opening is external focused. So unless you close all the Indriyas and look within, Dehendrimulu Arikatti Manasunilpi Antarmukamo. That's what Swami says. Sairam. Yes, Brother Yoga.
I think when we realized, we can see that we are the one create this curtain. I guess. Sarah.
Sairam, Brother Sairam. In Tamil, in Sanskrit, they say Swam Krita Anartha. That means we have created our own problems.
Telugu, it's Swayam Krutaparadham.
Huh?
Swayam Krutaparadham. That we just created our own problems, thinking that happiness is outside, running around.
Like a dog chasing its tail. Actually, it's chasing itself, but doesn't realize.
think Swami is saying in this, Vedas are explaining this itself, what we are just talking about.
That's why
If you
Swami starts the paragraph as Viditulu, Veda Viditulu, like that only is starting. And this Telugu paragraph, I don't think that's translated in English also. The rishis are those who have understood this. And that's how Swami said, what did they understand? What is the Veda which they understood? And then Swami goes on to this. And Vedantika truth, Yadhartham. Okay, yes, if everyone okay, we can continue. I think we didn't get past this slide last week.
To gain experience, Indians entered into austerities and disciplined inquiry until they identified the truth and announced it to the world. They discarded the urges of the senses and the manifold attractions of active involvement in the objective world. They taught the world this lesson. The mind of man was the instrument for the Indian seekers to discover the secret, which is the basic principle of wisdom as treasured by them. It became imperative for them to use the mind itself and study its nature and characteristics. They realized soon enough that the study of the external world led them nowhere. They diverted their attention to the internal regions of their consciousness. Thus, they laid the foundation for the Vedantic structure. This was the beginning of the Vedantic inquiry.
Okay, thank you. So we will,
Yep.
the Telugu brother.
ఇంద్రియ వాంఛలను కర్మ కలాపాది బాహ్య విషయ వాంఛలను తమకును సత్యమునకు నడుమ తెరను కల్పించినవనియు.
Okay, okay, brother.
Yeah, I think,
The desires of the Indriyas and all the action related external desires, these are these become the curtain between them and the truth. Understanding this,
ఆ తెరను కర్మ కలాపములచే ఛేదించుట కష్టమనియు అసాధ్యమనియు లోకానికి బోధించను.
that this curtain cannot be cut asunder in the world of activities. It's difficult and impossible, and they taught this to the world.
భారతీయ పరమార్థము దాని సత్యాన్ని కనుగొనుటకు మనస్సే వారికి ఆధారమయ్యను.
To understand the supreme principle of the Bharatiyas and its truth, to know its truth, mind itself is the support for that, and that's what they said. And the mind became the support for that also, basis for that also.
మనస్సు యొక్క సూక్ష్మ పరిశీలనము తప్ప గత్యంతరము కానరాదయ్యను. Understanding the mind.
So, without inquiring the subtle nature of the mind, there is no other way this can be seen.
To remove the curtain, I guess, right?
Which you cannot come to see it.
బాహ్య ప్రపంచ పరిశోధనము నిరుపయోగమయ్యను.
So the external inquiry of the external world and the nature, the five elemental nature, is of no use for this.
కాన అంతర ప్రపంచము తెసవారు తమ దృష్టిని మరల్చుకొనిరి. కాన అంతర ప్రపంచము.
So they turned their attention towards the internal world. They turned their vision towards the internal world.
ఇదియే వేదాంత విద్యకు ప్రారంభము.
This is the
పునాది.
beginning of the
Vedanta
study of, or the subject of Vedanta
ఇన్ ఫౌండేషన్ పునాది.
and the foundation.
సత్యమునకే వేరెక్కడనూ అన్వేషించ పని లేదు.
For truth, there is no work to search for this anywhere else.
అద్భుతములలోకెల్లా అద్భుతమగు ఈ జీవినియందు మానవునియందు వెతుకుడు.
This wonder of wonder, which is within the jiva, has to be searched. One should search within the human being.
We stop. I think English we didn't read all these things, I guess, right?
That was the beginning of the Vedantic inquiry. So, Prarambhamu, I think that's
Yeah.
The Punadi, I think.
Yeah.
So Swami is telling that we have to start looking inward and inquire the nature of the mind, and that is the way this can be unraveled. This Maya, this cannot come through any inquiry of the external world. So I'll stop here. Anyone would like to discuss anything?
Sairam, brother, is that sentence is correct? The mind of the man was the instrument for the Indian seekers to discover this secret?
Yeah, so I think that's right, sister. Swami says, Manasu yokka sukshma parisheelanamu tappa gatyantaranam kanaradani. No. The one Bharatiya Paramarthamu, that is the supreme principle of the Bharatiyas. Dani Satyani Kanugonutaku, to come to see the truth, come to realize the truth. Manasse variki adharamayyanu.
Manas.
The mind itself became the
Instrument.
support for this search.
Okay, so when they are with the mind, they are studying the world and they are finding that is no use, then they are connecting to the inner conscious. That's how it goes.
So, no, sister, mind is they use the mind. Okay.
Yes.
So then how did it become the support? Next sentence says, Manasu yokka sukshma parisheelanamu tappa gatyantaramu kanaradayanu. That means this mind should be used to study itself.
Yeah, that's,
The problem of the mind has to be analyzed by the mind.
Yes.
Okay. Not external. The mind should not be used to study the external.
For the external. So
Mind
the
should
mind
study
knows.
itself.
Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah.
By
So basically
studying,
they
then
use-
it will understand there's no use and it will turn into the region of consciousness.
Yes. So, because why you should study the mind? By studying the mind, all this construction by the mind you will cut it out.
Okay.
Because the mind is the one which is imagining.
Yes.
The Indriyas are not imagining. The mind is listening to the senses and it has created its own web. So the mind should work on removing it all. So the use of the mind is only to know that that is the problem. It's like,
Okay,
see,
that is the problem. Yeah.
sometimes, in life, we think others are problem.
Yes, you are.
So Swami will say the problem will stop when you analyze yourself and realize that you are the problem.
Yes.
Then the problem goes away. Okay. So the mind also should study itself and realize that it is the problem.
That's why you don't point fingers on others. You 3 times. Yeah, things.
Yes, Brother Sai.
Ramana, it's like I think use the torchlight to keep looking at the objects that are there in every place, but then you should turn the torchlight so it's on oneself to examine. So it's like using one thought of vichakshana or inquiry to examine the bundle of thoughts that emanate, and I think that itself will direct one that it's not bundle of thoughts like what Swami said, it's bundle of divinity. I think that direction of which side the torchlight is facing will determine whether it is dragging one on the external front or leading one on the internal journey.
And also, I think previous example that you gave, Brother Sai, I think the confusion between rope and the snake is nothing but the mind. I think mind is the one who created that confusion. So I think that example or the scenario identified the what mind is controlling us. I think that's a good example where everybody realized it's a mind which is actually creating all these problems. Then started studying how can I control my mind, and all the theories followed from there.
Yes. So that is the use of mind. So in the Vedanta, they say the inquiry the mind can do is neti neti. It is not this, it is not this. Because the mind is incapable of seeing the Atman. What it can do is it can just keep quiet. So once it keep quiet, then we can see.
Sukshma Parishilanam means
That's just examination of its subtle nature.
inquiring the subtle nature of the mind.
Yes.
So what
Manassu yokka sukshma parishilanam. So the subtle nature of the mind has to be examined. I think that's the way I understand. It became the imperative for them to use the mind itself and study its nature and characteristics.
there is no other way this can be seen.
Yes, so then Silanamu tappa, without nothing else, gati antaramu kanaradini. There is no other way.
Gati means there's a path, not
Yes.
no other
Yeah.
path.
Yeah. There's no other way forward other than doing this analysis of the mind.
So the mind is already sukshma, right? Like
Yes. So
what
sukshma parishilanam means, it's like, you dissect and see something inside,
yes.
which is so that kind of meaning. So it's subtle things has to be analyzed. Okay. Manasu yokka sukshma parishilanam means go get into the subtle nature of the mind. Okay. And examine that.
Hmm.
Should we say subtle nature, or maybe say may have a detailed inquiry of mind?
Yeah, mind itself is subtle. Its
Yeah.
nature itself is subtle. It's not gross. That's why it is very difficult to, do the dissection of the mind. I think there are a couple of other discourses where Swami has talked about Manasu Sukshma Mainadi, like that Swami will say. Mind is a subtle form, The gross form is gross, the world, which the Indriyas experience. But the subtle form is the mental sphere. Okay, that has to be examined. Okay, I think that's the way I understand clearly. So,
Is it like how you were saying that when you eat a chocolate, for example, you think the chocolate is giving you joy, but actually you're already constantly have that joy within you, but you're creating this philosophy that the chocolate is giving me joy.
no, so the Vedantins will say you are in a state of joy. Then the eyes saw the chocolate. Then because of that, the mind forgot it's enjoying the pleasure. So then there is some disturbance created in the mind now. Okay. Until you saw the chocolate, you were happy and content. As soon as you saw the chocolate, you were disturbed. So the disturbance it cuts you off from the experience of bliss. So then you go and eat the chocolate. So then what happens is the disturbance of the mind is stopped. You have solved the disturbance of the mind. Then you go back to the original state of enjoying yourself. So the thing is that the Rishi doesn't even look at the chocolate. So they are never away from the state of bliss. So, but the problem is because it's like, a baby is lying and sleeping. You pinch the baby starts crying. Okay, then you rock the baby and put the baby back to sleep. Okay, did you put the baby back to sleep? No, you created a disturbance which you took away now. If you didn't pinch the baby was anyway sleeping. So that sleep is the ultimate joy, bliss. I think everyone experiences it hopefully every day. So actually we are in a state of bliss. It gets disturbed by an external distraction. And then you solve that problem. It's like, you run and you fall down and you got a wound. Okay. Why did you get the wound, a cut? Because you ran and fell down. And then you put medicine and now you become healthy. So then somebody will ask, did the medicine make you healthy? No, the medicine only removed that problem which was created by going and falling down. To start with, you are healthy anyway. So then what happens? Some people, even if they haven't got the cut, they keep on applying the medicine thinking that the medicine is keeping them healthy. No, the medicine only removed a problem which was created, which was unnatural. So this is the Vedantic understanding of the play of mind and the search for bliss. Okay, so I hope. Okay. Yes, Auntie Saku.
Sairam. This manas has the components like ahankara and itana, antakarna, right? All the other ego, everything is combined together is manas.
Yes,
Now, that is that the true nature of the manas? The four components together?
So I will ask anyone else would like to answer that question of Sister Auntie Saku. So Auntie is asking, okay, now we are talking about manas. Should we study all the four? I think that's her question. Does it? Yeah, okay, Auntie? Auntie.
I am not asking to study, but I'm asking whether the true nature of the manas is all these four components together.
So, okay, so Auntie is saying, is it the true nature of the mind, these four components together? Anyone who would like to answer? Yes, Sai Satish. You want to answer?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please
So
go ahead.
I will attempt. So,
Yeah, all of us attempt.
So, yes, Andy. So in terms of the manas, you say it has the four components of manas, buddhi, chitta, and ahankara. So when we are talking about examining the mind, we are looking at the buddhi or the intellect. It is stepping into the role of being the intellect and then observing the other aspects of the mind, which is the manas, chitta, or ahankara. And so staying at that realm, because we say, even as we move from Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, and then Anandamaya Kosha. So the closest that comes to Anandamaya Kosha is Vijnana. So if you are able to be at that realm of constant inquiry, like what Anna was saying about the neti part, if you are able to every time discriminate and use that fundamental discrimination and to say what is real and what is not, then that aspect, so that is where I think the Bharatiyas used that state of the mind, which we call the buddhi or the intellect, and then examine the other parts of it, which ultimately led to that state of, I think, the amanaska itself, where the mind, the very aspect or what is being studied itself dissolves, and then it is beyond the mind, cannot explain it with the mind.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Anyone else would like to share your thoughts about the analysis of the mind, Parishilanam, Sukshma Parishilanam? So I will attempt using the chocolate analogy. So what happens, the eyes look at the chocolate. Okay, as soon as they send, that impression is taken by the mind. So suddenly we look at a chocolate and sudden desire has come. So as soon as we see that, we should inquire into that. Sukshma Parishilana. What happened now? We should ask ourselves. Tai looked at the chocolate. So, and that was perceived by the mind, Manas. Then the Chittam says, the mind, Chittam comes and says, I ate this chocolate the other day and this is the way it felt. That's impression from a past experience. So as soon as the Chittam says that, Ahankara says, oh, I want it again, I want it again. Okay, so that's where Ahankara comes. Okay. But then the mind says, Buddhi says, if you eat the chocolate, there can be some problem. You're already diabetic. There's no real good comes out of it. There's no nutrition in this. All that Buddhi will say. When all these people are talking to each other, the Atman is just looks at it and say, oh, this is what Buddhi talking. This is what the Manas doing. This is what the Chittam saying. Actually, as I don't need anything else. Okay, so it will be an academic an examination of this sudden desire for chocolate. Then it will say, I really don't need any of this. The Atman should say, I'm anyway complete. Whether I eat the chocolate, if I eat the chocolate, the senses may be happy. But then it will run after another one. So let me shut this eyes and let me not look at it. And you tell the mind, already you ate it yesterday, just keep quiet. And then we go back to worshipping the Lord, thinking of the Lord. So this is the Sukshma Parishilana. Every thought which comes out, we should analyze and see what is happening here. So once we analyze it, the analysis itself will drop the desire from ourselves. We will not attach to this mental inclination. And as Auntie said, then that is the proper analysis of every thought. Again, Swami has told, how do we analyze the functioning of the mind? And it's like, a child is saying, I want chocolate, I want chocolate. Okay. The mother or father will say, this, if I give this chocolate, this kid is going to become more hyper. Okay. And then he'll say, somehow dissuade them from that so they don't ask for it. So I think this is what we do. Otherwise, some parents will say, okay, without thinking, they will give some more chocolate and there's no end to it. It'll be a vicious cycle. Yes, Brother Yoga, please go ahead.
When you go to the groceries, if you don't eat without eating, we are hungry. If you go to the grocery, you buy all the goodies. And your stuff. I experienced that one. Once I eat everything, I go with the list and come back, only the list.
Thank you very much. Thank you for that explanation. Thank you very much. I don't know what the size of this and all. Thank you.
Yes,
Sorry, Uncle. So you said that the yogi just wouldn't look at the chocolate, but what about, the hunger? Like,
what about okay? Brother, I think we'll go back to Brother Yoga and ask, what does he do when he is hungry? Brother Yoga only goes when he is hungry, eats whatever needed for hunger and comes out. When he's not hungry, he doesn't go to the grocery store. That's what I understood from his explanation. So I think yes,
no,
brother.
When you go to the groceries, if you go to empty stomach, you buy all the chocolate, biscuits, and everything. But sometimes you stay home and throw it out after the expiry date. But when you go with after you eat, you go to the grocery stores, you go with the list only. You don't take any other things. Because I experienced that one. After I realized that without eating anything, don't go to grocery stores.
Thank you very much, brother. So I think the question is, what do we eat at home before going to the store?
Something, something you have to put in the tummy. The tummy will calm down after that.
So in the spiritual world, what should we eat?
yeah, Uncle, that's kind of like what I was asking, because don't you need at least some small enjoyments in life so that You stay cheerful. Otherwise, if you deny yourself everything, like
Okay,
No,
that's
you can enjoy something, but this is the one when you are hungry, it's unwanted thing you are taking. The regular hungry is you are calm down the regular hungry, you won't touch another things. That's why that some of the yogis, some of the places they don't eat. Some of the people got restriction, they don't eat somebody's people home. They cook by themselves, they eat. Because their thought also come. Even you buy from the stores, someday some bad thoughts come. I said, how come it's coming? Oh, I bought the pizza from that store. Okay, because now because of Swami only now we understand when it's happening, we can understanding something. Okay, this is one causing the trouble.
Thank you, brother. Okay, Sister Shivani has the answer. Let's go.
No, I don't have the answer. Thank you. And lovely to see and hear all the voices back. I missed for a month. I felt I was deprived. So, welcome back to all of you. Basically, based on the discussion, I'm a little under weather, so I don't know if I heard all of you clearly. But my understanding is, in simple words, it's all desires. The mind is, we were reading group 4. Girls are reading Taming the Monkey Mind by Phyllis Crystal. And if I can relate to this and making some connection here, the food and everything is just the mind is craving for desire. So I'm thinking, based on the discussion, if I'm reading the line that if we internalize, I think we won't feel hunger, we won't feel anything if we use our mind and understanding the atmic principle. My understanding, there won't be any hunger, there won't be any nothing. You are just, mind is not seeing the external world, because as Swami has said, it depends on how you use your mind. It can make and it can break, those things. It can turn into the worldly and it can turn into the internal, your reality, your truth realization. So I'm thinking, since we are discussing about food, I think there won't be any hunger, there won't be any nothing, like you are seeing everything as one. I don't know, does it make sense?
Okay,
I
thank you.
know.
The sister says there won't be hunger.
Yes, you won't feel hungry at all.
Okay, thank you, sister. Anyone else would like to share? Should we have at least little enjoyment in life?
Uncle, what you were saying about how the baby is already happy, or you're already in a state of bliss. Only seeing something causes a disturbance in you. But I'm just wondering, like, even if I were to cut myself off from everything and stay in a cave or something, still, you would feel the pangs of hunger of your body. Like, so that native bliss is not there. Like, you're not necessarily in that state of bliss, even without seeing anything or.
Yes. So I think now we have two sides. Sister Shivani says there's no hunger. I think she must have experienced that.
No, not yet. I'm imagining I should reach there, but yes, I have not reached there yet.
But then Kalyani says, even if you're in a cave, you may suddenly feel hungry. Okay, I think I think we should, I don't know, anyone has, I will just go, I'm just filling the time because no one else is putting their hands up. The thing is, why do we get hungry? Why does, I think the doctors in the class would know, why do we feel hungry?
The body need energy.
Yeah, certain hormones and things are released.
Because I think our mind is trained that way. Our life is trained that way, that we need to eat. I think
The
that
body need energy.
or that we have trained. I think we have trained ourselves from childhood that there is hunger.
Yes, Sai Satish.
You feel hungry because we feel you are the body.
Okay, then does the body let's identify ourselves as Atman. Does body have hunger? Let's ask that question.
Again, through the mind, right? So ultimately, I'm just saying from at least what I've heard or read, and in terms of rishis and so on, when they are meditating, they meditate continuously for, I don't know, hundreds or thousands of years. When they do that, their attention to the body is at a very minimal level, or just for sustenance sake. So when they come out of their deep state of meditation, whatever is needed just to sustain the body, they go. That same thing what we told earlier, Bhikshanam Deha Rakshartam Vastram Shita Nivaranam. Just at the level of that food that sustains the body is what is taken in. And again, the whole of the mind is focused on the inward journey. The same thing. Dehendra Muni Arigati Manasunilpi Nischala Samanu Chattadai Nilvagarala. Same thing, right? Like so it's the mind as long as the mind is focused on the inner realm of the Atman, then it being drawn on the necessities of what is required on the outside is less. So the metabolic function of the body, everything slows down. The breathing itself becomes slow. So the longevity comes into place. That's why they are there for hundreds or thousands of years. So whatever is needed at the realm of the body slows down. Everything slows down. So even that kind of a hunger, what the hunger is felt, is not felt on a hourly, in the different times of the day, but that gets prolonged at a basic level of what is needed to just keep the functions of the body going. So that much of a kind of an intake is taken, and then they go back into again the contemplation. So I'm just seeing where, at what do I identify myself with? Tell me your company, I shall tell you what you are. And based on that, automatically what it draws into. So if I identify myself at the level of the Atman and stay at that, and the mind is completely enjoying that bliss, then what is needed at the body level gets minimized. Whereas if I'm outside focused, then obviously I continue to feel the pangs of hunger or thirst more, which guides me on the external realm to go and fulfill those needs time and again. So it's just a prioritization. Maybe I'll stop at that side.
And just
Thank you
to
very much.
add, like if we're sleeping for 8-9 hours, we don't feel hungry at all. The minute we are up, oh my God, I have to have tea, I have to this, and I have to that. Like I will give you an example, a very practical example. My husband couldn't sleep. If he won't have dinner, he can't sleep. And I said, it's all your mind. He said, no, 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 your belly. I said, okay, let's try for a month. Believe me, we don't eat dinner very light, like by 6:30, and he sleeps. We just tried for a month. So I guess it's all your mind which is telling you you have to have a dinner. We sleep for 8-9 hours. We don't feel hungry. So when we get up, we are hungry. Oh, I need to have after 3 hours. But when we are up, can we stay without food for 8 hours? No, because we are seeing that external desire like objects, and we think, yes, this is my sustenance. But if it's, I don't know if I'm able to explain, but I'm just kind of thinking it's all in your mind. And if you divert your mind from these things, of course we can sustain, we can live, we can survive. Sign up.
Thank you very much, sister. So actually, it's a good inquiry of the subtle nature of the mind which we are doing. So the thing is hunger caused by the mind or the body? I think that was a discussion. I think it may be best for us to look at animals. Does the animal get up in the morning and says, I need to have a cup of coffee? Or why does it go and eat? I think these are questions we should ask. The reality is when the body is active, it needs energy. And the energy comes by the way of food. That's why animals which hibernate in the winter don't need food, as Sister Shivani was saying. When you sleep, you're not using much energy. Unless you have eaten a lot and gone to sleep, even though you're lying down, the body has so much work to do. So it's busy, digesting. So the thing is, if the body is used, it needs fuel. I think Sister Aruna was telling the body needs energy. I think she said, but it was not heard by anyone, I guess. She sort of mumbled. She was not very confident, but she said this. But the body, if it is used, it needs fuel. So hunger as a result of body needing energy, nothing wrong with it. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, don't eat too much, don't stop eating. This is what Krishna says. So if your body is using energy, it needs to be refilled. Then where do the senses come into the play? I think that's where the question is. The senses have been given to us by God so that we can evaluate the food which we are eating. That is the only purpose. When something is put in the mouth, the tongue will say, okay, it is sweet, so it's palatable, you can digest, or it's bitter. It can taste and evaluate the quality of food. But then after some time, because we have misused it so much, now we think the tongue is there only to enjoy. So all the sensory, it's not pleasure, the positive enjoyment, feeling of enjoyment which senses give is only to encourage your life so that you will eat, you will know what to eat, how to eat, you can measure the smell, the touch. So that is, everything is an examination of the food. So the senses, Swami uses the word matra. That means you evaluate and measure, is this the right thing to eat? Is the temperature is good? All that the tongue will tell. It's too cold, don't eat. Too hot, don't eat. But then after some time, we won't eat hotter than hotter and cooler than cooler. That is a misuse of the senses. So the thing is, what happens is, it's like medicine. Medicine is good for you, but then some people get addicted to the medicine. Does it mean the medicine is no good? No, the medicine is needed. But if you develop an addiction, it's a problem. So hunger is a natural. So I think the mind should know, is it a real problem or is it just an enjoyment? And I think as long as we train the mind to evaluate that, then we are in good shape. So nothing wrong in some of the rishis didn't eat because they went into hibernation mode. They were sitting and meditating. And Swami will say, what good comes out of it? But unless they are doing it for the welfare of the world, which is also true, the rishis sort of balance the energy in the world, but they're in hibernation mode, so they don't need to even breathe, some of them, because that is also not needed. So I think as I think they said, metabolism slows down or whatever. So I think nothing wrong with hunger. But when you taste something, you should remind yourself it's only a measurement whether this is good for me. It should not get into the mode of an addiction. That is a trait. So that's why they say the sage uses the senses and then pulls them all in like the tortoise. When it's not in use, just pull it and make it inward. Eyes, ears, mouth, nose. Use it as needed. Open the mouth only to eat. Like that. Open. Okay, yes, Sister Aruna, please go ahead.
Sairam, brother, body always Swami has given for us to use as an instrument to realize ourselves. And so that need to be maintained. Obviously, we need, for that energy, we need it, but without any desires, without any kind of thing. It's just eat for sake of having the energy on the body for you to take as an instrument and as a tool. And I just wanted to say, brother, this second paragraph, if we can read line by line to understand. Now I don't think we have enough time for that, but I wanted to understand line by line, because the mind, the how it was written in the first line and coming to then they divert their attention to the internal, is that a region. So is the mind is helping that mind is the one we wanted to turn inwardly to conscious, and how the Vedic structure is coming, where is so the beginning is good. So if we understand the first line by line, everything, just my request only. Thank you, Saira.
Okay, yes, sisters. Yes, Sai Satish, please go.
Sorry, Ramana, I was just going to add that every thought requires energy. And so when they still their mind, and of course, Anna had mentioned about the hibernation, which takes care of the body, but much of the energy is utilized by the mind because of the continuous flow of thoughts, ceaseless flow of thoughts. So once that is stilled, and the mind is now at that realm of just being thoughtless, then the the body becomes like an immense storehouse of energy which can last it for a longer duration. So that in terms of the hunger, everything is again only at very, very basic level of what is needed. It's at a very minimal level that is to keep the functioning of all the organs going, because the mind is just close to it. It is only used for a basic sustenance level, and everything else of the function of the mind is focused inward. So that itself will tell how hunger or thirst or everything gets cut down, and the body's function is so well conserved. It's so very optimal in its utilization that energy is conserved to a great extent, and that's where the long-lasting part of their journey by the sages and saints can be understood, like at a basic realm.
Thank you very much, Sai Satish. Yes, Sister Brother Yoga.
Sairam, that's what they said in the early morning meditation is very good because you already ate the food and everything digested. So the stomach is empty. That morning, early morning, you wake up and do the meditation. There's no disturbance come because the mind doesn't work. Because the food is only create the mind. There's no food, no creating the mind. Morning time also is very calm and quiet. All the people are sleeping. The mind or their mind also sleeping. And a very good time to practice the meditation. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you very much, brother. Thank you. Anyone else would like to share? Yes, Kalyani.
So just because I'm trying to apply, like if you just look at my own personal experience, like I don't necessarily feel that I'm in a constant state of bliss, and then only because of some external sensory thing that's causing disturbance in me. Because I feel that there's this constant up and down. Like if I don't eat, my body's disturbed, my mind is disturbed, and so then I eat, and then I feel enjoyment and bliss and satisfaction after I eat. So that, how do you not feel that, or how do you not associate the indriyas with that sensation?
Very good question, Kalyani. Anyone would like to? Yes, Brother Yoga.
That's what Swami says. For once you put the first plate, put the food on the first plate, eat it and leave it. Don't put to go to the second plate. I tried that one, works very good. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Anyone else would like to share anything? Okay,
Can you
Kalyani.
repeat the question, please?
Yes, Sister Shivani.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh, the question, Kalyani, what Kalyani says is, the reality in her experience, maybe there are, I know there are few who have not eaten or who can go without eating. But Kalyani, what Kalyani says is, her experience is that, that state of bliss is which is supposedly at all times, she is unable to experience it. So, but her her experience is at any point in time there is some disturbance, then she has to solve that, and then she attains that state of bliss, or that state of satisfaction. And then there is another problem which has to be dealt with, that has to be put, and that is the only way she is able to experience bliss, even if that satisfaction gives an experience of bliss. So how do you break from that and be able to experience bliss without any dependence on something external, And how do we come to a stage where there's no disturbance to start with? Because hunger causes disturbance. Something causes disturbance. So she doesn't know how the people in the cave are doing. She doesn't know, she can't go to the cave. So she's saying, I'm living in this world. Can I do this? And how can I do it? Kalyani, did I paraphrase your question well?
Yes, Anta.
Okay, I may have done an exposition of that question, but
You
I.
made it happen.
Okay, Sai Ram. Yes, Sai Satish, please go ahead.
Sorry, Ramana. Theoretical understanding. So, so again, so I am in that state of bliss, and so it's a placid lake, and then there's a pebble that's dropped that creates the ripples. Then the ripples have to subside, and then it becomes a placid or a clear lake once again. So, since I differentiate the lake and the pebble and the one tossing the pebble, I go through all of that process of somebody tossed the pebble caused the ripples, and then I was in a state of balance and I have to go back to it. So even as the hunger comes, if I can look at that hunger, oh Swami, now this, I engage in a kind of conversation with that hunger or thirst in the initial state of, or maybe I can use the story. So we know of that story of Tukaram or I forget Namdev, where he's going to have his meal. There are rotis and all of that in front of him. There's this dog that comes and takes this roti and starts running. And so this, now what the everybody sees there is that this saint is running behind the dog, and so they're thinking, how come this saint is so very perturbed? He wants his roti back. He's not even able to give up his roti. He's running behind the poor dog to get that. But ultimately, when he is able to catch hold of the dog at the end, the dog also gives up, and both are tired. But he catches up with the dog, and then he says to the dog, "Oh my dear Vithala, you have taken only the roti and gone. Here is the ghee that you missed taking with the roti," and offers it. That is the level where he's able to see the dog as also Vithala, and Vithala says, "Oh, Nama, here also I could not escape you. You have seen me here as well." So even if in the hunger state, I see that hunger as Swami coming as that hunger to just to remind me further that I'm still at the body level, Swami. I'm still feeling hunger, but please help me. I will have to get back to that state of knowing it's a continuum. It's about that continuous thing of seeing the person tossing the pebble, and that placid lake, everything as Swami and Swami. So even as disturbances come ceaselessly again and again and again, it's about telling that is also Swami, that is also Swami. And then there comes a point where, independent of whatever happens, it's a one continuum of joy or bliss, and there is no breakage or something happens which takes it away and then make an effort to come back. Sairam.
Sai Ram, Sai Satish. I think if I was Kalyani, I will ask another question. I was hungry. I served the plate and I sat on my desk and I was looking around whether the dog is appearing, but no dog appeared. Sleepy. So what do I do? Do
I eat it,
get up
Anna.
and
I eat it because I'm hungry. I eat it. That's it. It's a win-win situation. I have nobody coming there also. So then I'll stop.
Okay, sorry. Thank you. So Kalyani, I think, see, the challenge, Kalyani, is we have developed a habit and it has become our nature today. This yo-yo, looking for problem and coming has become a habit. Must have been a habit. Now it is so ingrained that is our natural state. Okay, so we have to unwind ourselves from this state, is my understanding. The answer to your question is in the first statement of the paragraph. The paragraph says, to gain the experience, Indians entered into austerities and disciplined inquiry until they identified the truth and announced it to the world. sorry, So the thing is, there's no other choice other than regular inquiry, having some sort of austerity which we come. That's why people practice vratam, things like that. There are different practices which people have, go fasting on a particular day. So this way we slowly train and have an opportunity to break free from that habit which we have developed and made it ingrained over many lifetimes. So that's the reality. So regular practice, regular inquiry, studying ourselves, asking ourselves, through this process, we will actually develop the ability to, step back from our mental, issues. So what has happened is today the real need and desire all got so mixed up. Now we cannot separate what is desire and what is need of the body. And so I think it's a regular practice to train the mind not to go after desire. So that is why religious practices, observances have come into being. So on one day, say we don't eat salt today, or I won't eat anything sweet today. So that day you are basically resisting that desire. And over a period of time, we develop the strength, inner strength. So then the final test will be when you are sitting outside, sitting and eating, a dog will come and grab the roti, and you will be running behind it. You have forgotten the curry, I will give you the curry also, and you will run. So that is the ultimate state which Sai Satish talked about. But to get to that point, I think regularly we should ask this question. We should study. We should think. Whenever a desire comes, what is happening? Is this desire or is it real the need of the body? And things like that. And sometimes you may want to eat something sweet or something salty because the body tells there is I need some, I need some salt in the body. There is a lack of salt in the body. So the body also can prompt you through certain desires or certain cravings to satisfy the real need in you. But I think it's a matter of being able to observe and analyze and understand what is the need, what is the desire, and what is the mind asking and what is the body really asking. But I think that requires a lot of training of the mind to observe, critically analyze. Sathya Swami will say, when you're eating, eat with half stomach and get up. Okay. So I think it's about sealing, so that way you slowly train to evaluate whatever the mind is asking, whether it's an impulsive desire or is it a real need for the body. I think that it takes time, and I think that's a training from what I understand. That is called disciplined inquiry and austerity. So the answer was just staring in front of us. Whenever somebody asks a question, actually I go and read the paragraphs again, so that the answer will always be there.
Mm.
Saira.
So the discipline inquiry is my question. We had learned discipline, spiritual discipline before, the samadama thing, or the sixth one. What is this discipline inquiries here meant by?
So it's 428, sister. So I will ask Sister Shivani if she knows
Hmm.
to answer that
No,
question.
discipline inquiry to me is like I used to crave. I don't know. I was not answering that, but I think I will just align with it. I used to crave sometimes. I need to have pani puri. I need to have bhel puri. All of those things, and I really used to go out and I said, where it's coming from? Why I'm craving this? And I realized my mind is creating that food, visualizing that food, right? And if I stop visualizing, it won't come. It's not that I have given up, but this is what it is. I'm not now chasing too much every week because I used to I have to eat this. I'm craving for this thing. Let me just go for gulab jamun and I want to have with kheer. And I was like, what the heck is going on in my life? And it's actually my mind, not my mind. I think mind is very smart that way. He will create so many things and say, oh, this is fun, this is fun, this is fun. And since you stop visualizing those, I think you can control your mind or you can capture that monkey mind, if I say so. Sairam. I don't know if I answer, but this is something I'm working on.
Thank you, sister. Actually, sister had already explained. See, so she said her desire she's unable to control, but she was able to discipline husband, who
Oh,
wanted
no. I didn't. It was just a small segment of it. I didn't discipline. I discussed with him. He self-inquired and he worked on it. I didn't discipline.
God, I don't know.
No, what I'm saying is basically we have to ask the questions whether it's really needed, whether it's whether when we're eating something, are we eating too much? That itself is inquiry, sister. Should I eat one more spoon of this, or is one spoon is enough? Am I getting any nutrition out of this?
So is that goes along with the spiritual discipline, everything we acquire with that discipline to that is the inquiry we are making towards the spiritual.
Of course, it is spiritual from my understanding. Yes, brother Prasad.
Ceiling and desire is one of the components for spiritual discipline, right? I think it's the same thing here too. I mean, everything, ceiling and desire of every piece of pleasure and sensory pleasures, we have to keep
Put a
control. Ceiling.
Put a ceiling. Yes.
And discipline inquiry is constantly inquiring, not just once in a while.
So every day you have to measure, how much am I putting on my plate? Is it half a piece of sweet or, something like that. But I think just asking the questions itself, actually, a lot of problems will be resolved by just asking the question. So I think inquiry means it's not that, suddenly, we go into some very advanced Vedantic inquiry. It's just simple questions. After all, is the sense is craving dragging me down this road? I think we can ask. I think we'll practice the inquiry throughout the week and we will share the experience next week. So I think it's 4:32, so we'll close the session for today. Wonderful. Sai Ram, everyone. Om Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu. Samastaloka Sukhino Bhavantu.
Shanti,
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 Shanti.